Fear is the invisible leash around your neck. You think you're free, but every hesitation, every moment you hold back, every time you swallow your words, that's fear owning you. It dictates who you are. It makes you small. It keeps you obedient. And here's the brutal truth. The world preys on the fearful. The weak are used, discarded, forgotten. History doesn't even remember their names. The ones who carved their names into eternity were those who eradicated fear. They didn't negotiate with it. They didn't hide it. They killed it. Machiavelli understood this. A man who fears nothing cannot be manipulated. He cannot be bribed, blackmailed, or broken. He becomes untouchable, dangerous. That's why the fearless rise, while the rest stay slaves. If you want dominance, you must burn fear out of your system. Rip it from your soul until nothing rattles you. Not enemies, not betrayal, not death itself. Only then will power bend to you. This isn't motivation. This is a transformation. By the end, fear will be gone from your mind, hesitation erased from your soul, and you will stand unshakable, master of yourself, unstoppable and untouchable by anything life throws at you. Fear is not external. It does not reside in your enemies, your failures, or the circumstances around you. Fear lives inside you. It whispers lies when you hesitate. It makes you shrink when opportunity demands aggression. It convinces you to settle when you should strike. Until you recognize it, it will rule every decision you make. Every pause, every doubt, every hesitation. It is fear steering the ship. Most people spend their lives running from this silent enemy. They mask it with busyness, distractions, and excuses. They pretend they are brave, but deep down, every "I can't," every second guess, every avoidance is fear asserting dominance over them. And while they waste time avoiding it, fear only grows stronger. It becomes a prison built from indecision, a cage forged from compromise. It is invisible, insidious, and deadly. Machiavelli understood this clearly. The man who seeks true mastery, whether over kingdoms, organizations, or his own life, must first conquer himself. Dominance begins internally. Before you can bend the world to your will, you must eradicate the inner tyrant. Fear. You must confront it, examine it, and kill it. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Fear wears many masks: doubt, hesitation, anxiety, self-loathing, the need for approval. They are all the same beast, all the same chain, all the same poison. Recognize them, name them, understand them. Only then can you disarm them. But knowing is not enough. Intellectual understanding alone will never make you fearless. Fear is defeated through action, through relentless confrontation, through repeated refusal to submit. Each day presents opportunities to confront it. Notice the moments where you pause, where you shrink, where fear dictates your actions. Small choices matter. Speak up when silence tempts you. Take risks when caution paralyzes you. Pursue the things others hesitate to touch. Each time you choose action over avoidance, You burn a fraction of fear from your system. Each small victory compounds, shaping a mind that no longer obeys weakness. Control over fear is control over yourself. Control over yourself is the foundation of all power. The moment hesitation disappears, clarity emerges. Doubt vanishes. Indecision is replaced with precision, strategy, and cold calculation. You begin to see your life not as a chaotic series of events, but as a battlefield in which you are the sole commander. You do not need permission, approval, or reassurance. You act, and the world reacts. But this process is uncomfortable. Fear is addictive. It thrives on avoidance, compromise, and submission. As you confront it, it will fight back. It will whisper that you are reckless, unprepared, or foolish. That is exactly why you must continue. Growth, power, and transformation are forged in the discomfort of internal battle. Each time you resist fear, you carve a piece of dominance into your identity. Each act of courage reinforces the fortress around your mind. Soon, you will notice a shift. Fear will no longer control minor decisions, nor will it dictate reactions to major crises. You will act with a calm precision that others mistake for natural talent or invincibility. But it is neither luck nor skill. It is discipline. It is preparation. It is mastery over yourself. And it is lethal. One truth becomes clear. Fear has no power unless you give it power. The moment you stop yielding, it dies. You begin to act freely, ruthlessly, and strategically. You become a version of yourself that others only glimpse in moments of chaos. But you carry it at all times. The battlefield is within you. The war is silent, but the victory is permanent. The path forward is simple in theory, but brutal in practice. Identify your fear, confront it daily, refuse to submit, and strengthen yourself relentlessly. Each victory, no matter how small, chips away at the chains that held you captive. Until eventually, you will move through life untouchable, calm, calculated, and unafraid. This is the moment when hesitation ends, when weakness dies, and when fear ceases to exist within you. And that is where true power begins. Fearlessness is not something inherited, nor is it a byproduct of talent, luck, or circumstance. It is forged. It is hammered into the mind through relentless discipline, repeated confrontation, and a refusal to obey hesitation. Once you understand that fear is an internal tyrant, the next step is to build the habits and mindset that make you untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. This is not about impressing others or asserting dominance over anyone else. It is about becoming a version of yourself so formidable that hesitation, doubt, and anxiety no longer have a home in your mind. Every action you take is either an act of submission to fear or a rebellion against it. Speaking up when silence tempts you, taking risks when caution paralyzes you, facing uncomfortable truths instead of hiding from them. These are not small victories. They are the bricks that build an unassailable mind. Each time you choose action over avoidance, you weaken fear's grip and reinforce your internal authority. Small wins compound. Each confrontation with fear leaves a residue of control, a hardened layer of self-mastery that accumulates until hesitation becomes impossible. Mental clarity is your weapon. Fear clouds judgment, distorts perception, and breeds hesitation. To eradicate it, you must train your mind to see reality as it is. A battlefield of decisions, opportunities, and challenges. Stop imagining failure. Stop overanalyzing outcomes. Stop giving energy to what-ifs. When fear arises, label it. Recognize it for what it is, a signal, not a command. Then act. Action neutralizes fear. Indecision empowers it. This distinction, subtle yet brutal, is the foundation of internal dominance. Discipline is the backbone of fearlessness. Build routines that reinforce control over yourself. Confront the tasks you dread first. Endure physical, mental, and emotional strain deliberately. Pain and discomfort are tools, not enemies. Each time you persist, when instinct tells you to flee, you reinforce the boundaries of your internal power. Each moment of deliberate discomfort is a stake hammered into the ground, claiming territory inside your mind that fear can never reclaim. Solitude is another weapon. Fear thrives in distraction, in the noise of others' opinions, judgments, and expectations. Learning to sit alone with yourself, without validation or reassurance, forces your mind to confront weakness directly. In silence, you discover your true capacity. You learn to rely on no one, trust no one, and obey no one but yourself. Fear cannot survive here. It has no ally to manipulate. In these moments, you begin to build an unshakable center, a core of self-reliance that nothing can breach. Visualization strengthens this process. See yourself acting without hesitation. See yourself making decisions calmly. See yourself standing unmoved in moments of pressure. The mind cannot distinguish vivid imagination from reality. By rehearsing fearlessness internally, you train your instincts. When action comes, you do not falter. You execute. The mastery of internal scenarios builds external mastery. This process is uncomfortable. Fear will scream louder, more cunningly, more insidiously than ever before. It will attempt to lure you back into old habits, safe zones, and compromises. That is exactly why persistence is non-negotiable. Each act of resistance chips away at the chains that once bound you. Each refusal to submit carves dominance into your identity. This is the crucible in which the fearless are made. Eventually, you will notice a transformation. Decisions that once paralyzed you now elicit calm, precise judgment. Emotional storms that once derailed your focus now pass over you like wind over stone. The instinct to flee or appease diminishes. You move through life with clarity and precision that others mistake for talent or luck. But it is neither. It is deliberate internal mastery. It is the product of countless small victories over your own hesitation, doubt, and fear. Fearlessness is not simply the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. The man who has burned fear out of his system doesn't walk through life like everyone else. His energy changes. His silence is heavier, his presence sharper. Others sense it before he even speaks. This is someone who will not bend. That awareness alone shifts the balance of power in every interaction. People who once tried to dominate you will hesitate. People who thought they could manipulate you will stop and recalculate. A fearless man radiates danger without saying a word. When you no longer carry fear, you are free in a way most humans will never know. Free from the fear of rejection, so you can speak the truth others choke on. Free from the fear of failure, so you take the risks everyone else avoids. Free from the fear of loss, so you cannot be bribed, guilted, or emotionally chained. This is the kind of man Machiavelli described when he wrote of rulers who could not be broken. They were not stronger than their enemies, nor kinder, nor even more intelligent. They were simply untouchable, because nothing inside of them could be used against them. Think about it. What is the enemy's first weapon? Threats. They threaten your reputation, your money, your position, your safety. But if you do not fear humiliation, if you do not fear poverty, if you do not fear even death itself, then their threats dissolve into air. The chains they try to bind you with fall apart in their hands. You become something rare and dangerous, a man who cannot be controlled. The world does not know what to do with such people. History remembers them as tyrants, rebels, conquerors, prophets. Always divisive, always feared, always respected. The transformation is not easy. You will not wake up fearless just by hearing these words. This requires confrontation with your own limits. You must hunt your fears down and destroy them one by one. Afraid of speaking up? Force yourself into silence-breaking moments until the sting of judgment dies. Afraid of losing? Strip yourself of attachment until you realize most losses are illusions. Afraid of being alone? Learn to disappear, to thrive in isolation, to walk the earth without anyone holding your hand. Each time you kill a fear, you grow less human in the eyes of others, less predictable, less controllable, more dangerous. Machiavelli's ruthless insight was this: fearlessness is not about recklessness. The man who fears nothing does not run blindly into danger. He calculates, he waits, he plans. But when the time comes to strike, there is no hesitation, no tremor in his hand, no doubt clouding his judgment. He is decisive, and decisiveness terrifies those who live in hesitation. You've seen it in war, in politics, even in boardrooms. The person who hesitates loses. The one who acts with absolute conviction wins, even if the odds are against them. Do not mistake this for arrogance. Fearlessness is not about ego. It is about clarity. The fearless man is not distracted by what might go wrong. He sees only what must be done. That clarity is why armies have followed leaders into impossible battles. It is why entire nations have bent under the presence of a single individual. Fearlessness is magnetic. It pulls people in, not because they love you, but because they sense you are on a different level than everyone else. You are moving without the invisible chains that bind the rest. This is the turning point. The fearful man asks permission, apologizes, plays small to survive. The fearless man moves through life like he owns it. He does not beg, he takes. He does not hide. He steps into the light. And in that moment, the world shifts. No one can explain it, but everyone feels it. There is power here, and it does not come from wealth, status, or numbers. It comes from the simple, terrifying fact that this man does not fear. True mastery over fear is useless if it is not applied. It is one thing to be untouchable internally, to move through life without hesitation or doubt. But the world will still test you. Opportunities, crises, and challenges will appear, sometimes small, sometimes catastrophic. How you respond to these moments determines whether your internal dominance translates into real-world power. Fearlessness is not theoretical. It is action under pressure. When a crisis arrives, your first instinct will often be hesitation. You may feel the familiar pull of doubt. Am I ready? What if I fail? This is the last whisper of fear. The difference between the timid and the unstoppable is simple. Action. The fearless move first. They assess quickly, decide deliberately, and act without letting fear dictate their choices. They understand that hesitation is the breeding ground of failure. Every second wasted in doubt is a victory for fear. Decision-making under pressure is where fearlessness proves its value. When you have eliminated hesitation internally, your mind becomes a precision instrument. You can analyze, prioritize, and execute without the fog of doubt clouding judgment. Every choice is deliberate. Every action is intentional. The world cannot manipulate you because your internal authority is absolute. You act with clarity, not emotion, with strategy, not reaction. This is the hallmark of true dominance. Challenges, no matter how daunting, are no longer obstacles. They are tests. They are opportunities to refine your mastery, to strengthen your instincts, and to reinforce the habit of fearless action. When others panic, you remain calm. When others falter, you move with precision. Every crisis survived without hesitation deepens the foundation of your internal power. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the unyielding constant in a chaotic world. Preparation amplifies this effect. Fear often grows from uncertainty. By preparing relentlessly, you reduce the unknowns that feed hesitation. Anticipate challenges before they arise. Build mental, physical, and strategic reserves. Train yourself to respond to scenarios repeatedly until action becomes instinct. When the moment arrives, you do not think, you act. Fear becomes irrelevant because preparation has neutralized it. The unpredictable no longer terrifies you. It becomes a field in which you operate with skill and precision. Even when outcomes are uncertain, fearlessness allows you to maintain control over yourself. External results may fluctuate, but your response is constant. You choose calm over panic, strategy over impulsivity, action over avoidance. The ability to remain unmoved, to act deliberately in chaos, is the ultimate expression of internal mastery. Others may crumble around you, but you do not. You remain consistent, powerful, and unwavering. Risk is no longer intimidating. To the untrained mind, danger produces hesitation and doubt. To the fearless, risk is a tool, a variable that can be measured, managed, and leveraged. You act when others freeze. You see opportunity where others see threat. Fearlessness does not eliminate risk. It eliminates paralysis. And the difference is the difference between mediocrity and dominance. You also learn to internalize challenges as lessons rather than threats. Every difficulty becomes a mirror, reflecting where fear still exists and where mastery has taken hold. Each victory over hesitation reinforces your confidence. Each confrontation with uncertainty strengthens your resolve. By viewing challenges this way, the world ceases to intimidate you. Circumstances are no longer tyrants. They are instruments to refine your control over yourself. Eventually, a transformation occurs. Decisions that once paralyzed you now produce calm, precise action. Crises that would have induced panic now elicit measured, strategic responses. You operate with a level of self-governance and composure that others mistake for natural talent or luck. But it is neither. It is the relentless application of internal mastery to external reality. Fearlessness is no longer an abstract concept. It is your operational mode. The final truth is unavoidable. Real power emerges when internal mastery meets external application. The world will continue to throw crises, challenges, and opportunities in your path. Your dominance is defined not by the absence of these events, but by how consistently, deliberately, and fearlessly you respond. Each decision, each action, each moment of calm under pressure solidifies your supremacy over yourself and your circumstances. Fearlessness applied transforms you into a human force of unbreakable will. You do not rely on luck, charm, or approval. You rely on preparation, discipline, and the absolute authority of a mind untouchable by fear. The world tests everyone. The fearless pass every trial because they have already conquered the only opponent that truly matters: themselves. Fear begins as a whisper inside your own head. Before the world ever threatens you, before enemies ever appear, it is your own mind that sabotages you. Fear tells you not to speak, not to try, not to risk, not to rise. And so, long before the world enslaves you, you've already enslaved yourself. The man who destroys fear inside himself becomes something rare, untouchable. Not because no one attacks him, but because no attack reaches his core. He walks through chaos without being broken by it. He moves through betrayal without being paralyzed by it. He faces death itself without bowing to it. This is the highest form of freedom, a sovereignty no king, no army, no tyrant can take away. Think about what changes when fear dies within you. You no longer need constant approval. You no longer panic at uncertainty. You no longer crumble when plans collapse. Instead, you stand still while the world shakes. Others cling to illusions, money, titles, crowds of people, to feel safe. But the fearless man carries his fortress inside. He does not need validation. He does not need protection. He does not need permission. This is not the loud, reckless fearlessness of fools who mistake noise for power. It is quiet, calm, cold. The kind of fearlessness that unnerves people more than shouting ever could. You look them in the eye, steady and unblinking, and they realize nothing they say or do will move you. That is when you stop being a participant in the game and become the one who sets the rules. And here's the paradox. When you no longer need power, the world gives it to you. When you no longer fear loss, opportunities open. When you no longer beg for respect, people hand it to you without being asked. Machiavelli understood that the man who fears nothing commands everything, not because he chases it, but because the world cannot